so that they miss now. Why you think these superhero movies are so huge? Because they are forwarding their own myth. And we have our myth. We have our gods and our rishas, all of them. They took them from us. So you have to start with the children first and make them proud of who they are by taking them out of this cesspool of bullshit that we keep getting from Pixar and Disney, and putting them into a realm where they begin to see themselves. Children today can't put themselves into a story of Goldilocks. They can't put, our children can't put themselves in there. That black doll, white doll, that ain't going nowhere until we change it. And what you're asking for is fundamental change. And it's going to happen in our children. And we can't, it cannot happen in the adults. The adults have to show the children by providing the environment for them to be nurtured and that type of mentality to be nurtured. You were going to say, brother?
What I was going to say is, I guess I was touching on, like, I mean, I don't know, maybe I might be going in a paranoid state, but I just truly feel like a martial law thing is just right around the corner, and I'm just looking at, and maybe I'm not suppressing that fear that is that is probably quietly in all of us, but I guess I'm trying to say is how do we prepare for any extreme measures on the physical level, far as anarchy or any of that type of anything.
Well, hey, brother, that calls for tactical, and there's no way that anybody, a good general, will start putting his tactical information out so that everybody starts picking up on it. You're asking for information about how to prepare for an inevitability that has been creeping into us for a while. Well, it's study what you see and know what you need to do to counter that. It's simple. If they're going to take your food, start making food or start creating ways for food. If you're going to take your water, start taking ways to know how to purify your water. These are the fundamentals. What is it that we need fundamentally when everything shuts down? Food and water. That's it.
Right. Agreed.
And join with other people who are thinking the same way. Like I said earlier, the Brother Moonstone that was on, I was just like, there's only a few of us, but we all started a co-op. We all said, look, we need to start growing our own food. We need to start storing our own food. We need to start studying and practicing together. So that's what we do, and it really is only a handful of us, and we don't care. When we get up enough finance, we bring the lecturers down, and it might just be a handful of us, but we get that information and we go. So with it, yeah, join with the like minds of the people. Thank you, Brother Wallace.
Thank you.
Thank you, brother.
You're welcome. Maria, welcome to Abundance Child Worldwide. You're on the air.
Love and light, everybody. I'm enjoying the show. It's kind of scary listening to Brother Dr. Phil Valentine. It's kind of scary. But I can remember when I was young, the Atlanta murders. I had to been in my early teens. And I had some neighbors across the street. Now, before the Atlanta murders took place, our children were disappearing in Atlanta before that thing got exposed. Because we were young, and my neighbor went down there, and she said she called up crying. She said an Albion man was trying to get in the window. And she was crying. He was trying to open the window. And this was before the Atlanta murders. So our children been disappearing for a long time, and nobody has been saying anything. And then when I get a chance, when I see one of ours missing, I post it. And I just saw something that down in Alabama, that your police officers, they have this roadblock going on, and they are asking people for their DNA culture. And they're paying them $10. And once they pay them $10, they ask them if they want to donate blood, they give them $50. Now, I never approved of our people participating into any type of blood drive because they only trying to figure out our blood type so they can create some type of virus to attack us. And this is something that I always felt a long time ago. So I don't give blood under no circumstances. But, I had to disagree with you. A lot of things that you said I'm on point with. But I had to disagree with you. You said the men are the lawgivers and we are the nurturers, which we are nurturers and everything. But I know when you carry a child in the womb for 9 months, and, it was told to me about our brain being larger than the man. We are supposed to communicate with that child in our womb. We are supposed to get from the cosmos what that child is here to become. Now, no, I'm not a feminist by a long shot. But, see, I watched when my mothers and them grew up in that era that you're talking about, a lot of sisters would not have a problem with the man being in charge. But, see, because man have no control over his lower self, he wanted to bring other stuff in the equation. And when you're sleeping with more than one woman, you sharing spirits. And this is why a lot of women came away from that, because I remember when my mother and them were doing that. They was doing, the men were going out making the money. The women was home raising the children. And the men were very disrespectful. They wasn't responsible to lead anything. And the younger generation of women, we observed that and we watched that and we said we did not want that for ourselves. And this is what happened. And this is why you have this other thing going on. It's not that we will follow y'all wherever you go, but we ain't going to follow you to hell. And you're not going to lead us to hell because you have no control over your lower self. Because whenever you sleep with somebody, you bring their spirit and their karma to me. If I'm in a relationship with a man and
I'm sorry, Sister Maya, only because I'm about to have to end the show early because I got to go catch this flight. But Dr. Valentine did say, he didn't say that the women or the men were the law and the women were the nurturers. He used other terminology. And also, he said that we have to get back to nature. During those times, which is the same era that my family, my mom and my grandparents went through, the women in my family went through the same thing. We weren't in nature at that time either. He said we got to go all the way back to the barometer of even prior to us being here. The soul slave paradigm thing. He said we have to go even back to that part. And actually a lot of stuff happened before we even got over here. So we're dealing with some serious stuff, and the culmination is what we see today. But if you listen to my show called the G-Spot, which means the government, I'm in complete agreement. It's not just because Baba said this, but it's because I, as a woman, understand government law and commerce. Men are the law and women are the government. It is just what he said, but because of this society, we, even myself, it's hard to look at it that way. I fight it every day. You know what I mean? And sometimes I'm able to come back and I'm like, daggone, just listen or whatever. But it's the truth. The brothers are supposed to be providing. They're supposed to be dealing with the mores and the ethics and the values. Everything that this man said, we're supposed to build on that and make it beautiful and sweet and loving and bring forth new stuff. We don't know how to do that. And also we've been put in such a position where we've been forced to act like men that we don't even know how to comprehend what this man is saying. And it's not actually taking anything away from us. This is something that's going to empower us. Because when we start getting ourselves together, sisters, like me and you, we start getting ourselves together with some other women, we're going to want to have some sound, positive brothers and some feedback from these types of men in order to take direction. Because at the end of the day, we want to end up with these types of brothers. We don't want to end up with the ones that you're saying that are incompetent, and basically impotent, because they're not putting out any type of seed that's going to do anything except be in the videos that we were talking about earlier. So it's time that we start. That's why I created a show called the G-Spot, so that we can tackle these types of issues, and we can determine how we're going to carry out that law. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying 100%. I agree with what you just said, 100%. If we're going to go to that degree, but before all that, then I have no problem with it.
Well,
it's
inevitable.
Let me just say this. As far as brains are concerned, sister, I'm not sure in what scientific bracket you place in that, but women use a specific portion of their brain more than men. And the reason why that is because men do a different function. Men have more brain cells working than women, and that's for a specific function. We are built to compatibility and not for equality. So the function necessary for you, your brain developed a certain way in communication, in language, in nuances of emotions. Your brain had to develop to be able to deal with nonverbal communication because you had a baby that didn't know how to speak. So if a baby didn't know how to speak, you had to be able to pick up on what that child was saying and the nuances of its behavior. Your brain developed that way in order to do that. This is why you have a special thing, why I defer to my wife whenever I want to know what that person was like. What do you think about that person? Because she would feel something that I would probably not pick up. And she's learned from me how to think about certain ways, and I've learned from her how to look at certain situations because we are compatible. That's how we are supposed to be. The men are the ones that are supposed to be breaking down stuff to be able to clear the road and do the things that we necessarily need to do so that we could build up the society. As far as the situation that you're seeing, that you said went on with your family, that was polygamy gone wild. That was something that women used to control. Polygamy was not something that just men controlled. Polygamy was something that women controlled because of the decimation of their men. They had to put together an institution where they were able to work around a family structure where there were less men. They could not have women by themselves, so women gathered together and created a structure of law called today polygamy. We called it in Africa family. It had nothing to do with polygamy, polyandry, and all this. This is white people's classification of black people's families. So what I'm saying is, over here, everything that happened over here after the Ma'angamisi, what they call the Ma'afa, after the Ma'angamisi, again, remember we said earlier that everything is crazy. There is no sanity here. So inside of an insane environment, an insane culture, you're only going to get insane reactions to that culture, both on the subconscious level and on the conscious level.
Okay, I got you.
Father, can you give us your information? I'm sorry to cut you off, but I really do got to go, and I don't want the show to just be like done. So can you, Greg, I'm not able to access the switchboard, so I apologize. I can't get to your call. I do apologize. But can you get out your links and everything before we go, and I'm going to shout out the show one more time.
Okay. Are you speaking to me, sister?
Yeah, like, the university and...
Oh, sure, by my own means.
All of that good stuff.
Yeah, great. People can go up online to our university's website, which is at uksnow.org. uksnow.org. If they wish to deal with consultations, that being natural healing consultations, relationship consultations, or what we call metaphysical consultations, they can call 800-847-1291. Again, 800-847-1291. And that includes vaccination deferment or vaccination exemption packages and information, which we've been doing for the last 25 years, 30 years as well, since Brooklyn. What we want to do also is to remind people that we are starting our next semester at the university this coming July the 20th, I believe, is the next semester, and we are starting off with Metaphysical Psychology 1. And if you want to get any deeper into the knowledge of the higher principles and sciences of chemists, then this would be a good thing for you. The other thing also is that we are dealing with Juice Plus because